It begins with a difference so subtle that no one fully understands it at first. A newborn opens its eyes in a hospital room. The doctors expect the child to see the world the way humans always have: shapes, colors, shadows, light. But something else appears in that tiny field of vision: heat. The nurses moving around the room glow softly against the cooler walls. Their hands appear brighter than their uniforms. The newborn's mother looks like a warm silhouette surrounded by cooler shades of air and metal equipment. No one realizes it yet, but the human species has just gained a new sense. At first, the discovery spreads slowly. Parents begin noticing strange behavior in babies. Infants seem able to track people even in complete darkness. When lights are turned off in a room, the babies continue staring directly at the warm shapes of adults moving nearby. Doctors initially assume it is coincidence. But when scientists begin testing children born in the same year, something incredible becomes clear. Every single one of them can see heat. The human eye has changed. Somewhere deep within the retina, new cells have appeared, cells capable of detecting infrared radiation. Humans can now perceive temperature differences the way certain animals can. At first, it feels like a strange extension of vision. Warm objects glow, cool objects fade. People walking through the night appear as moving shapes of light against darker surroundings. Within a few years, the first generation capable of thermal vision grows old enough to describe what they see. And their descriptions fascinate scientists. To them, the world looks completely different. Daytime still appears normal. Sunlight reflects off objects and colors remain visible. But layered over that familiar image is a second landscape, a shifting map of heat. Car engines glow long after they stop running. Animals hiding in forests appear as bright shapes against cool leaves. Footprints remain visible for several minutes after someone walks across the ground, leaving faint trails of warmth behind. Night becomes almost as visible as day, and suddenly the meaning of darkness changes. For most of human history, darkness limited vision. People needed fire, lamps, and electricity to see at night. Now darkness means almost nothing. A person walking through a forest at midnight can see every warm creature hiding in the trees. A deer behind a bush glows clearly. A rabbit beneath tall grass shines like a small ember. Even insects appear as tiny sparks moving through the air. Humanity becomes a species that can see life itself glowing against the cold background of the world. The consequences appear quickly. Hunters are the first to notice the advantage. Tracking animals becomes dramatically easier. Even the most carefully hidden creatures cannot completely hide their body heat. A hunter standing silently in darkness can watch entire ecosystems moving through the forest. Predators stalking prey, birds resting in trees, rodents running beneath leaves. Nature becomes visible in ways never seen before. But hunting is only the beginning. Cities begin transforming as people discover how thermal vision changes everyday life. At night, crowded streets become seas of glowing human figures. People appear as warm shapes moving through cooler buildings and sidewalks. Crowds are easier to see from a distance. A single person walking through a park at night stands out clearly against the colder environment. For the first time in history, humans are naturally equipped to see each other in darkness. Crime begins changing almost immediately. Hiding becomes harder. A thief standing behind a wall still radiates heat. A person hiding in bushes or shadows glows faintly against the cold surroundings. Police quickly realize that their work has become easier. Searching dark buildings no longer requires flashlights. Suspects can be spotted by the warmth of their bodies even through thin obstacles like fabric or foliage. But criminals adapt too. New technologies appear designed to block or disguise body heat. Clothing companies begin producing thermal camouflage fabrics that reflect heat away from the body. Buildings are redesigned with insulation layers to hide the warmth inside rooms. Architecture itself begins adapting to a world where heat is visible. Meanwhile, scientists discover something unexpected. Thermal vision reveals information about the human body itself. Faces display subtle patterns of temperature. The forehead warms when someone is stressed. The cheeks flush during embarrassment. Hands grow warmer during excitement. Doctors begin studying how these patterns could be used for medical diagnosis. Inflammation becomes easier to detect. Infections create visible heat signatures beneath the skin. Circulation problems appear as cold patches where blood flow is weak. Thermal vision becomes one of the most powerful medical tools humans have ever possessed, built directly into the human eye. But perhaps the most interesting changes happen in everyday social life. People begin noticing things they never could before. Emotions become slightly visible. When someone feels nervous, tiny temperature shifts appear around the face. When someone is angry, heat spreads across the forehead and neck. When someone feels attraction, their body temperature subtly changes. For the first time in human history, feelings leave visible traces, not obvious ones, but enough that careful observers can sometimes sense them. Some people become extremely good at reading these signals. Others struggle to hide their emotions. Lying becomes more complicated. A person trying to remain calm might still show faint heat patterns that reveal stress. Negotiations, interviews, and conversations gain a new layer of silent information. Yet the world itself also appears more alive than ever before. Forests glow with the warmth of animals hidden beneath leaves. Cities shimmer with thousands of moving heat signatures. Even the ground tells stories. A recently parked car radiates heat. A building releases warmth through its windows. A cup of coffee glows brightly in someone's hand. Human vision now sees energy flowing through the world. But scientists studying the phenomenon begin asking deeper questions. Why did this change happen? Thermal vision existed in animals long before humans appeared. Snakes use it to hunt prey in darkness. Some insects detect heat to find hosts. Yet humans evolved relying mostly on visible light. Now that ability has suddenly appeared, which raises an intriguing possibility. If the human brain can adapt to process thermal information, what else might human vision be capable of seeing? At first, thermal vision feels like an incredible advantage. Humans can now see what was once invisible. Night is no longer truly dark. Forests glow with hidden life. Cities reveal patterns of warmth that were always there but never noticed before. But as the first generation grows older, people begin realizing something deeper. Thermal vision does not just change what humans see. It changes how humans understand the world. For the first time in history, energy becomes visible. Every object carries a temperature. Every living creature releases warmth into the environment. The entire planet is constantly exchanging heat. And now humans can watch it happen in real time. Cities at night become glowing landscapes. Buildings radiate warmth through their walls and windows. Streets slowly cool after the heat of the day. Parks appear darker and colder compared to the bright silhouettes of people walking through them. From a rooftop, a person can look across an entire city and see where life is concentrated. Crowded restaurants glow. Subway entrances shine with warmth. Apartment buildings pulse with hundreds of living bodies behind the walls. But thermal vision also reveals things that people never expected to see. For example, animals. Before the change, wildlife often remained hidden in cities. Foxes, raccoons, stray cats, and other creatures moved through darkness unseen. Now they cannot hide. A small animal moving through a park becomes a bright spark against the cooler grass. Birds resting on rooftops glow softly. Even insects appear as tiny points of warmth in the air. Urban ecosystems suddenly become visible. And with that visibility comes awareness. People begin realizing how much life surrounds them every day. But the biggest transformation happens in the wilderness. In forests, thermal vision turns night into something almost magical. Thousands of animals appear where before there was only darkness. Deer sleeping beneath trees, owls perched on branches, small mammals moving through the undergrowth, predators stalking prey. The forest becomes a living map of warmth and motion. Hunters, scientists, and photographers discover that observing wildlife has become easier than ever. Yet animals also begin adapting. Some species learn to hide their heat signatures. Certain animals move into colder environments where their warmth blends with surroundings. Others develop behaviors that reduce their visibility. Evolution begins responding to humanity's new ability. Meanwhile, technology begins changing as well. For centuries, humans invented machines to see heat, thermal cameras used in military operations, firefighting, and scientific research. Now those machines feel less necessary, because every human eye can already see heat patterns. Firefighters become dramatically more effective. When entering a burning building filled with smoke, they can immediately see where people are trapped. The heat of human bodies stands out clearly against cooler walls and floors. Rescue operations become faster. More lives are saved. Doctors discover another powerful application. Thermal vision allows them to detect diseases earlier than ever before. Inflammation, infections, and internal injuries often produce small temperature changes in the body. A trained doctor can sometimes notice these changes simply by looking at a patient. Skin that appears normal to old human vision now reveals subtle heat patterns. Early stages of illness become visible. Circulation problems can be spotted instantly. Even some cancers create abnormal thermal signatures. Medicine becomes more precise, but not every consequence of thermal vision is positive, because seeing heat also means seeing vulnerability. Humans are warm creatures living in a cooler environment. At night, every person glows like a beacon. Privacy becomes harder. A person hiding in darkness can still be seen clearly by anyone nearby. Security systems begin adapting. Some buildings use cooling systems on outer walls to mask the heat inside. Special clothing appears designed to spread body heat across larger surfaces, making people harder to detect. Thermal camouflage becomes an entire industry. Military organizations study the new human ability carefully. For centuries, armies relied on night vision technology. Now soldiers can naturally see warm targets in darkness. Battlefields change. Stealth becomes much more difficult. Armies experiment with new materials that hide or distort heat signatures. But even outside of warfare, daily social life begins evolving. People start noticing emotional signals they never saw before. Blushing becomes impossible to hide. Embarrassment produces a quick bloom of warmth across the cheeks. Fear creates cooler patches as blood flow changes. Excitement warms the skin. Couples sometimes say they can see attraction. When two people feel strong emotions, their faces show subtle temperature shifts. Of course, thermal vision does not reveal thoughts, but it reveals physical reactions connected to feelings. Some people become extremely skilled at reading those signals. Psychologists begin studying how thermal cues affect communication. Job interviews become slightly different. Negotiators watch carefully for signs of stress or confidence. Athletes use thermal awareness to monitor their physical condition during training. Yet perhaps the most profound change appears in how humans see the planet itself. For the first time, people can watch the Earth breathing heat. After sunset, roads slowly release the warmth they absorbed during the day. Rivers appear colder than surrounding land. Mountains create complex thermal patterns as sunlight warms their slopes unevenly. Even the ocean reveals shifting currents through subtle differences in temperature. The entire surface of the planet becomes a living map of energy, and the children born with thermal vision grow up believing this is normal. To them, the world has always been filled with glowing life. They cannot imagine what it was like when humans could not see heat, when darkness truly hid things, when animals disappeared into shadows. In their eyes, the planet feels more alive, because warmth reveals something fundamental about life. Living organisms constantly exchange energy with their surroundings. Heat is the signature of life itself. And now humans can see it everywhere. The forests glow, cities pulse, people shine softly in the night. The world is no longer just shapes and colors. It is a living landscape of warmth, a reminder that life is not silent or invisible. It radiates energy into the universe every second. And now, for the first time in human history, humans can finally see it.